What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate Podcast. We got another waiver wire episode for week 5. So, for the people that are new, I'm posting a separate episode for each position. So, go check it out, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast. Check out my feed. There is a separate waiver wire episode for each position. The criteria I use for these players, all of these players are 33% rostered or less. So at minimum, they are rostered in a third of leagues. So they are pretty widely available. Let's hop into it. I have 8 running backs for you guys. Like I said, all 33% rostered or less. My number one pickup this week is Trey Sermon. So he is the backup running back to Jonathan Taylor. But Taylor went out in last week's game with an ankle injury, and the reports say it's a high ankle sprain. He hasn't been ruled out yet, but I think it's going to be like Joe Mixon, where he doesn't play for at least a couple weeks. So go pick up Trey Sermon. He is most likely going to be a starting running back for the Colts. The only thing with him is when you look at the waiver wire list on whatever app you're using, he isn't going to be high up. So you're going to have to search for him, but go pick him up. He's most likely going to be a starting running back. Number 2 is Justice Hill. I've been telling you guys to pick him up since the beginning of the season. He is the Ravens' pass-catching back and plays almost every third down. We've seen 2 games this year where the Ravens give him 5+ catches. Whenever the Ravens are chasing points or need to pass a lot, he will always be a candidate for a good game. The Ravens play the Bengals this week, so this might be a good game to start Justice Hill. Number 3 is Tank Bigsby. He is another repeat waiver wire player. He is the number 2 back behind Travis Etienne, but he has honestly outperformed Etienne with the work he's been given. He's also looked really good on tape, really big and really fast. The Jaguars are 0-4. Maybe they switch things up and give him more work, but even if they don't, Bigsby is still giving you 10 carries per game, which is really solid. Number 4 is Alexander Madison. He's been on the waiver wire list all year, and I understand why people don't want to pick him up. He's just not that good of a player, but he is the clear number 1 running back for the Raiders at the moment, and that is valuable for fantasy. If you are desperate for a running back, he is going to give you volume every week, which always can turn into a touchdown or a big play. So if you are desperate, I don't mind picking up Madison. All these guys from now on are kind of gross, but number 5 is Kareem Hunt. He looked like the number 1 running back for the Chiefs last week. He had over 15 touches, which is great. We love that. 2 worries I have for him. 1, he didn't look explosive. Those 15 touches only turned into 10 fantasy points. And 2, there's just so many running backs on that team. I don't know if any of those running backs are guaranteed volume, but it's never a bad thing to have a running back on a Patrick Mahomes offense. So if you have to pick a Chiefs running back, I would go Kareem Hunt, but I don't love it. Number 6 is a teammate of Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine. The same logic I use for Hunt applies to Perine, but the only plus Perine has is he is going to get more catches than Hunt, most likely. Perine looks like the pass catching back for the Chiefs, so he has a pretty solid floor with the catches, but I don't think any of these running backs really have a ceiling just because they're splitting work. But if you can't get Kareem Hunt, I don't mind Samaje Perine if you are desperate. Number 7 is Antonio Gibson. So he is the number 2 back behind Ramondre Stevenson, and this Patriots offense isn't very good. So this is really gross. I get it. But he's had 2 games over 10 points this season, and he's looked pretty good when he gets the ball. So if you are desperate, he isn't the worst option. Last one is Jeremy McNichols for the Commanders. So you have to watch the injury reports for this one. Austin Eckler is the number 2 back for the Commanders if he plays. But Eckler was out last week, which made McNichols the number 2 running back, and he had a great fantasy game. He had over 10 touches. So honestly, if you're not in a super deep league, you can probably just wait for the reports to come out and then pick him up if Eckler doesn't play. So if Eckler plays, don't even worry about McNichols. If Eckler is out again, I think he is a solid option. I also want to bring up some streaming defenses for you guys. I have 3 options, all 33% rostered or less. My number 1 is the Broncos. They have shown to be a really good defense these last couple of weeks. The defense is the reason why the Broncos have won these last 2 games against the Bucs and the Jets. And this defense has scored over 10 points 2 weeks in a row. Now they play the Raiders, which is a great matchup for defenses. Number 2, I have the Commanders. I don't think they are an amazing defense, but the last 2 games they have shown major improvements. They had 4 sacks against Kyler Murray last week and ended up with 11 points. Now they play the Browns, who have allowed the most sacks in the NFL so far this season. My last one is the Patriots. They have been a decent defense the whole year. The only problem is the Patriots offense is so bad that it puts the defense in tough situations a lot, and because of that, they haven't scored many fantasy points. But this week, they played the Dolphins, and we saw how bad the Dolphins offense looked on Monday night. So those are 3 options if you need a defense, and that is going to be the end of the waiver wire show. Like I said, I have a separate episode for each position. Go check all of them out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.